For one simple reason, Wellness Plus, the card that gives you credits you can use like cash. Plus, discounts that only members get. Plus, 20% off almost the entire store. Plus, that's for a whole year. Plus, rewards that start today and pile on every time you shop. So, if you're tired of missing out on all the pluses only Rite Aid delivers, visit RiteAidWellness.com to sign up and learn more today about Wellness Plus. Rite Aid. With us, it's personal.
Geico presents Fan Mail to a Pig.
Dear Maxwell, I just want to say thank you for making my Geico Insurance ID card digital. It's easy to find on the app. It doesn't give me paper cuts, and I always have it on hand because it's on my phone. Because of this, I finally cleaned out my glove box, which was filled with years of paper ID cards. Any thought on what I should put in my glove box now? Sincerely, Trent Patterson. Trent, what can you put in the glove box? Here's a crazy thought. How about gloves?
Digital insurance ID cards, just a tap away on the Geico app.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires alignments, and showcase Win automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Find them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573 today. Old Town Tavern in the heart of Phoebus is your place for a great lunch and dinner, specializing in fresh seafood, burgers, sandwiches, salads, appetizers, and much more. Open daily, Old Town Tavern has live music, pool tables, darts, HD TVs, and a most pleasing atmosphere. Find them on Facebook. Visit 31 East Mellon Street in Hampton with plenty of parking in the back. Call 251-2636, 251-2636, bringing great food and great people together. Old Town Tavern, the locals' choice. Chesapeake, Virginia, 1650 AM WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick and at GJBTV.com. Now here is Greg Bickaveris.
And welcome to Sports Scene right here on this very nice Wednesday, August 20th, 2014. Greg Bickaveris, glad you're with us. Your weekly destination right here, Sports Scene on News Talk 1650 from 12 to 1. Also, sports highlights, my TV program on nnpstv.com. Listen to this show on tunein.com. Type in WHKT on your phone or your computer. This is your home for CBS News. And Ken, while I'm doing my opening right here, I've got to say this for CBS News. Boy, all the news stations have been really busy with what's going on in Missouri. We'll get your thoughts on that a little bit later. Tell your friends about 1650, Twitter at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV, at HROnlineMall.com. Thank you to our military. Thank you to our police. Our great guest lineup as well. Sponsors on GJBTV.com. Homepage, all the pages, marketplace sponsors as well. Guest lineup presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Everybody's talking about Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com, the place to find all the local businesses with one click. No typing, searching, or even anything else. Phone line presented by Old Town Tavern in Hampton. Sponsors this month on WHKT, Old Town Tavern, Fink's Car Care, Battlefield Guns and Ammo, Crawl Space Stores. Next month, we want to welcome back the Newport News Greek Festival Fall Edition and also India Palace in Chesapeake and Virginia Beach. GJBTV.com, HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com, and of course, sports highlights on nnpstv.com. Hard to believe fall's around the corner. A lot of football going on, baseball, brand new baseball commissioner, a lot of great sports headlines, tennis, U.S. Open right around the corner, and of course, all kinds of great sports, news, and entertainment right here on Sports Scene. For archive shows, go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link. We try to make it simple and easy for you folks. Thanks to all our great Twitter followers, our feedback, our listeners. You make the show each and every week. Stay tuned. Sports Scene will continue with great guests after these messages.
Your family and their safety are your number one priority. Your homestead and your business and quality of life can give you peace of mind. But there are some bad hombres out there. Keep it all safe with the proper firearms and ammo from Battlefield Guns and Ammo. You can't take anything for granted, whether you're at the ranch or out on the trail. Call 757-410-7720. Log on to battlefield-guns.com and visit Battlefield Guns and Ammo at 240 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet. Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Fink's Car Care is your place for all of your automotive needs. They handle state inspections, brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, transmission service, radiator repair. They have a wide variety of tires, and when it comes to your car, they do it all. Visit their 2 locations at 2711 Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth and 2236 South Military Highway in Chesapeake. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573.
Now back to Greg Bicaveras and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
And welcome live right back here on the radio, about 12 after 12 on this beautiful Wednesday in Hampton Roads, your 10,000-watt voice of CBS News right here in southeastern Virginia. And also go to tunein.com, type in WHKT, listen on your phone and your computer. Greg Bicaveras along with Ken Johnson up until 1 o'clock each and every week right here for Sports Scene, bringing you the best local, regional, national, and international guests anywhere in the world. Our next guest, we've had him on Sports Scene several years ago, Penn State historian. He is Mr. Penn State, knows everything about the past, present, and the future. None other than Lou Prado. Lou, welcome. How are you, my friend?
Good morning. Well, I guess it's almost just past noon, so I guess it's afternoon. Glad to be with you, Greg.
Very good, Lou. Always a pleasure. Talk about your background. You have a little bit of a connection to 2 personalities down here in LaSalle Blanks and Joe Flanagan. Talk about that.
I was going to do a shout-out for them. Parsons was Marcellus was my student at Northwestern Medill. He's a great guy. I was down there to visit both he and Joe a few years ago because I do have relatives in the area up in Richmond, and my step-grandson Brett is a sailor on the USS Harry Truman, so I have a little, been down there. And Joe, he's out of Dayton, Ohio, and I didn't know him then, but he sent me an audition tape back when I was a news director at Dayton, and he was an Atlanta weatherman. He went by Joe Folke. And it was a crazy weather. Marcia may even seen it at Medill, but it was a great tape because he played like a Superman. He did a gimmick. He'd go into a booth, and I think he was the backup third weatherman down there. But I was attracted to his tape, and we became friends from that time. And both those guys are just great guys.
Well, let me set up the scene for you folks before we start the interview with Lou. Lou is Mr. Penn State. He's one of the few people that knew Joe Paterno when he was single. This guy knows everything about Penn State, and you can type his name on YouTube, see a lot of stuff on there like Louprato. Lou, let's talk about that. First of all, what's your connection with Penn State? It goes back several decades.
Well, I was a freshman in 1955. I'm an old guy, and a freshman in 1955, and Joe was an assistant coach, and I met him, and it wasn't until after I was working in Pittsburgh a few years later in 1962, and a woman came up to me in the supermarket there in Brentwood, suburb of Pittsburgh, and said, introduced herself, and she said, I'm Sue Poland, and I'm a fiance of Joe Paterno. That's how I met Sue, so I knew Joe before Sue. And because Sue was a co-ed, and Joe met her, and they hooked up and got married. But Joe was a great guy as a assistant coach with the kids like us. I mean, he wasn't that much older than a lot of the kids, and he was his personality basically never changed. Just like a lot of us didn't change. But when he got the head coaching job, it was sort of expected. But if you read all the history of what he had to prove himself, and the history shows that his first season he was almost fired because he was finished with a 5-5 season, and when they started losing the next year, the opening game, it was down in Miami. He put sophomores in, and and turned the team around and went on to be history. And of course, the history is clouded now because of the Sandusky scandal and a lot of blame to Joe that is undeserved. And people listening to this want a little better idea, a little even-handed of the story. They need to buy Jay Paterno's book that's just out. You ought to get him on your show. He'll be willing to talk to you about it. I think all day he was in New York doing all shows today, but. There's a lot of misunderstanding. It's just I just like to say one thing. It's like this Ferguson situation in Missouri. People should be careful what they believe to start. I mean, I was in the news media. I was a news director for years, ran a Medill program in Washington, D.C. I still consider myself a news junkie.
Sure.
The Duke Lacrosse case was a good example of what people made prejudgments of what happened and found out the truth later. And the Penn State case, it's hard to tell people who have a preconceived notion of what happened. Just based on the first few days of the media, and I'm not just blaming the media. I'm blaming the attorney general and the governor and what they released in a grand jury testimony. And it's a very convoluted story, and it's not simple, but it's going to take years to overcome, if ever overcome. And the Joe Paterno legacy is going to be tarnished no matter what happens and what the truth is.
Talking to Lou Prado right there, Penn State historian Greg Bicoveris. This is Sports Scene 1216 on News Talk 1650 WHKT, your home for CBS News. And let's just say this: you were interviewed prior to 2011 on how wonderful and how ethical and how everything is going on at Penn State. How much did it hurt you and hurt your pride?
Oh, it hurt me.
I mean, after all this happened, Lou. I mean, just
it hurt me and it hurt a lot of Penn Staters because this so-called culture of football. Yeah, I mean, the statistics are just the facts are there if people want to look into them. We did not have any major infractions and yet I'm not going to go into the details.
Sure.
I'd be on here for 2 hours trying to explain it. But a few years before. Mark Emmert, the NCAA, I don't want to almost swear about him, the guy who took the lead in sanctioning all of Penn State. His predecessor, Miles Brand, came to Penn State, spent a couple of days, and proclaimed Penn State as the poster child of what's all is right about Penn State, and it was right. And the fact is that there's a lot of confusion. And before I say anything else, anybody listen to this? Yes, we understand the victims. Nobody understands victims of child abuse more than me. Okay, I'm not going to go any more than that. But yes, but there were victims. But whether Joe Paterno was at fault, whether Penn State was at fault, it's very clouded on who was at fault. The fact is, just one little fact is, the Second Mile organization, of which Jerry Sandusky created and led, has not even been touched in this whole scandal, and they were told about it. He worked for them for years. He couldn't have done what he did, what he was convicted of doing, without the Second Mile people knowing about it.
Sure.
There's a lot going on here, but people, it's easy when you get into something like this. It's easy to blame. Again, bring up Ferguson. It's easy to blame one side, to blame the cops, and the other side to blame the young black man who was killed. Okay, who knows the truth? Well, the same thing is here. Wait till the facts to come out. I do know a lot of the facts. I mean, I've been studying this for 2.5 years, and the so-called free report is a fraud. And everybody wants to get into it. That was the so-called investigation that the Penn State Board of Trustees, who didn't even approve the report, incidentally. I mean, I know I may be rambling to your listeners, but
we don't need the whole thing right now, Lou. But let's move on with the interview. We understand all that, and I appreciate that because you really know it very well. But what I'm getting at, the culture of change, when Joe didn't change anything from 50 to 2011, pretty much. Then you had all hell broke loose. Then Joe left. Then of course Bradley was the interim. Then of course O'Brien, now Franklin. How has it been with the O'Brien to Franklin transition going into this year?
The transition is great. Bill O'Brien saved the program. There's no doubt about it. As a coach, he saved the program. Now, if it hadn't been for the two legacy recruits that I write about in the book that I wrote about the 2012 season, Michael Motti is with the Minnesota Vikings now, and Michael Zordich, I think, is with the Atlanta team, Falcons. They were sons of former players,
sure,
and they took the lead with O'Brien to really keep the team in place, and the fans too. The fans backed the team, and O'Brien and his coaching staff did a great job both in 2012 and 2013. And when O'Brien left, it wasn't really a surprise. He'd made it clear after 2012 when he was being wooed by some clubs that he was good. His goal was to be an NFL coach, and he took the Houston job, which one of my close friends, who is a big writer in NFL, said it was one of the 2 best jobs available. He didn't blame him for taking it. So,
sure.
So Franklin, being a Penn State type of guy. I mean, his coach at East Stroudsburg State, well, I call it State Teachers College. It's the old school. East Stroudsburg University was an old friend of mine from Indiana, Pennsylvania, where I'm from. So O'Brien has Pennsylvania roots. He wanted to come here. He brought his staff here. They wanted to come here. They have several Pennsylvania roots. The defensive coordinator, Bob Shoup, is from Pittsburgh. I just met his dad a couple of days at a fair down there. I mean, the people have taken to him, and the recruits have taken to him. And we put the scandal over here, and then the football here, and it's not a culture of football, just football here. It's all sports.
Sure. And, of course, the good thing is they've had winning seasons the last couple of years, and every year goes by. Now, 2014, the scandal is becoming less and less and less. And let's talk about 2014. I've got to ask you this, Lou. You and I talked about it off the air, but inform the public. Joe rarely liked change, and I got to admit, other than the horrific Sandusky scandal, was a big Paterno fan. It was really unfair. They took his statue down that quick. The NCAA made a big mistake taking away those wins. Had nothing to do with those players at all. Big mistake there. But I did like the way Joe kept things under the vest, was close to his assistants, took care of his assistants, took care of his alumni, took care of his players, took care of his former past players, and then kept the uniforms neat. You look at these uniforms now, these college kids are wearing, it looks like a rainbow. Penn State's got the best uniforms in the country. I hope Franklin doesn't mess it up.
Well, I have to tell you, you wound up with the uniforms. I think, look, this is not the Penn State that I grew up with in the Penn State of the last few years. Franklin's changed some things. There's traditions that are changing. There's some of us have discussed about the uniforms, and he's going to change the uniforms. Now, what type of change? Look, whatever changes he make, the king is dead. Long live the king. That's what we have. We have a new coach. He can do what he wants. But he won't be that garish. But if Notre Dame and Michigan can come up with a little colorful uniforms for a game or two, so will him.
Right.
In fact, a couple of us figured don't be surprised if one of these times he comes up with a pink and black.
Right.
Maybe it'll be pink helmet, pink somewhere there, but it'll be pink and black.
Joe, yeah, you're right. Joe will be rolling over his grave. Let me ask you this: we're talking to Lou Prado, Penn State historian, Greg Bicoveris, along with Ken Johnson. The quarterback, the kid Hackenberg, is right here from Virginia. What are his thoughts going in now to his in his Penn State years here? He
was just elected a captain, the first sophomore in history of Penn State, 128-year history of football to be elected captain. The stories are all about him. I mean, he may be if he has a great year and Penn State has surprises people, there'll be talk about him for the Heisman Trophy. But that we're all speculating. He could have a bad year because we have there's problems with the offensive line. There's no experience there. There's linebacker problems. They only have 72 players on scholarship versus the 85. Yada yada yada. We can go on and on about that. But Hackenberg is the key. If he gets hurt, the season will be different. But there are a couple young true freshmen that are getting a lot of publicity by the media covering the practices. So, but Hackenberg is the key. There's no doubt about it. It's like Braxton Miller going down at Ohio State.
Sure.
It's going to change their season.
Definitely, but Miller's a senior, of course, and I'm sure he'll probably try to do a medical redshirt. But the thing is, Hackenberg's got a lot better arm. Miller's a better runner. But one thing Joe got, that he had great passing quarterbacks. This kid Hackenberg, Lou, this is just my opinion, best arm since Chuck Fusina was there.
Well, Fusina was a great quarterback. You're forgetting Kerry Collins in 93, 94. I mean, Kerry Collins spent 17 years in the pros. Chuck was one of my favorite people because he was runner-up to the Heisman, but his pro career went a different direction. But Hackenberg has the potential. But again, still it's potential. He could get hurt and it could be out. It just takes one play and a kid's career is over. I mean, so you got to remember that. But if Hackenberg can reach his potential and stay away hurt, he could go out here as the greatest quarterback that ever played. But who knows? Yeah,
so many great connections from this area where we live at right here. DJ Dozier's from here. David Macklin played for Penn State. Keith Goganis all played for Joe. Have the utmost respect for him.
You you got Michael Robinson, one of my favorite players from down that area.
Well, not exactly. He's about 70 miles away from me. I'm talking about the guys that live in this area.
I'm up here in central Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's true.
This is the middle of nowhere. So anything in the Richmond, Norfolk area, that's Virginia. So when we talk about the Virginia players that Penn State has recruited down there, there have been a lot of great ones.
Oh, definitely.
And that's another point about Franklin. Man, he's done a fantastic job of recruiting with all the problems we have. And if all these kids, or even just most of them, sign with Penn State, the sanctions get lifted. I mean, the potential for what Penn State football is going to have in the next few years to be able to get back up there into the lead of the college football world is right there. There's a lot of potential.
Well, what about the schedule this year, Lou? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, most of the media beat reporters up here are predicting a 7-5 season. Some have gone out as far as a 9-3, and others, there's several others who've been around think it's going to be a losing season. They're unpredictable. You win a game that they shouldn't win, and lose a game they shouldn't. A lot of injuries. I happen to play it down the middle and say 6-6 because nobody really knows. But they've got a lot of things have to gel, and the first game is important over at in Ireland. They're flying to Ireland for that first game, the Croke Classic. And if it was set up because of O'Brien and O'Leary, the coach at Central Florida, but if Franklin had his way, he'd cancel the game. They're leaving on a Tuesday night, flying over. I mean, the schedule was just released today of what they'll be going to do over there, and that's a long way to go to lose a game. But Central Florida is no put down like it used to be. That's a great team, and up and coming, and they want to show the big power conferences that they can play with them all the time. As they won the Fiesta Bowl last year. So who knows? And if Penn State loses that game, who knows what the tone of the chemistry of the team? Because chemistry is everything.
Talking to Lou Prado right here, Penn State historian Greg Bicoveris, Ken Johnson. Glad you're with us right here live on the radio at 1226. News Talk 1650. Also tunein.com. Type in WHKT. Lou, I know you're big on Twitter. Go ahead and plug your Twitter handle too.
Well, I'm just Lou Prado at Twitter. I mean, it's I guess I don't know. Encyclopedia is my what I use, but no, I'm an old guy to be on Twitter, but I find that Twitter gives you a lot of news information.
Sure does.
Before you called, that's why I was seeing some things on there. I said, wow, and it leads you to the stories. That's how the business has changed. I mean, radio talk's been around for long, but Twitter's only been pretty active in the last couple of years, and just to be a news source.
Yeah, within 24 hours, this show will be available on Twitter. Unbelievable.
That's amazing. And the people that do podcasts, Rich Eisen of the NFL Network's was a student of mine, like LaSalle is, and he does a podcast, and you can pick up, and it's like, and he gets the Hollywood stars on air and everything, and so it's just they're based in the L.A. area.
Yeah, and Larry King does the same thing, and ever since he left CNN, he does, and my TV show is webcast on nnpstv.com.
So even though we're talking here to maybe a small audience in the Norfolk area, somebody who's going to be listening or maybe overseas somewhere, someone that wants to keep up with what's going on with Norfolk sports. So, the media's changed everything, good and bad.
Virginia Beach is the biggest city in the state of Virginia, so it's not exactly small down here. This is not one of the coal mines in Pennsylvania.
A small audience. Norfolk may be a small audience in when you're talking to someone in Shanghai. I mean, that's what. Don't misinterpret what I said.
Right, yeah.
Sounds like I'm put down Norfolk. Hell, I'm an old carrier guy too. You got a carrier and a cruiser, so I'm an old Navy guy.
Right. All right. Well, it's funny you mentioned one more thing about Joe, Classic Joe. Give us behind the scenes what it was like when you and Joe talked away from everything, how protective he was of his players, the road trips, how fun he made it for the guys. And what's amazing too, Lou? When he played Temple his last year, and even in 2011, he referred to playing them back in 1950 when he was an assistant. Great memory
like that.
Yeah.
And on Friday nights, he did this for years. I mean, he sort of slacked off the last few years, particularly after his brother had died. When his brother died, they used to sit around and at Friday nights at home and away games and kibitz a lot, and media guys would be around him, and he'd tell how the game plan was going to be because he trusted the media. Well, later he couldn't trust the media, and after his brother died, he would still try to get together both in home and away games when he was up to it. When he felt like it sometimes, and he'd be in there and tell the same thing. He'd start talking stories, and most of the media guys, men and women too, that when women started becoming part of the team, covering the team, they'd love to hear his stories, particularly the guys who've been around and hearing about and comparing what it was like and playing, like as you said, Temple back there, and a story of keep comparing it to something today. But
yeah,
Joe towards the end, Joe got the media and Joe turned against each other.
Sure.
There's no doubt about it. Whether it was the age, whether it was the young reporters coming in, had a different feeling about reporting, whether Joe didn't want to handle the PR like he used to do. Life goes on, things change, and that's where Franklin has picked up the slack. And if there's any major change here between Joe Paterno, Bill O'Brien, and Franklin, Franklin is really media savvy.
Yeah, well, Joe is no spring chicken, but Lou, thanks a lot. We're pushed for time, and all the best to you, my friend. Hope to talk to you down the road.
Good. Thanks a lot, Greg.
Thank you, Lou. Lou Prado right there, Ken, giving us the Penn State history right there. And, of course, the past, the present, and the future. And, of course, the key thing is they've all moved on to a different direction.
Oh, yeah. Time marches on.
Definitely so. Ken, CBS News coming up.
CBS coming up, a quick update on traffic. Things are looking a little better on the peninsula following that crash up by around Fort Eustis that had things jammed up. Still heavy, though, 64 westbound. We've got a 3 o'clock opening scheduled for the James River Bridge this afternoon. Downtown Tunnel westbound overnight closure again tonight, 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. Sunshine for this afternoon, a high of 80. Clear skies tonight, a low of 70 degrees. For tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, some afternoon thunderstorms, and a high of 83 degrees. We'll see some scattered showers and thunderstorms for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It clears up when? Guess when? Of course, on Monday. Naturally, isn't that should be one of the tease me off. CBS News is next, 12:31.
CBS News Update. I'm Steve Kathan. As a Missouri grand jury hears the first evidence in the Ferguson shooting case, the prosecutors deflecting calls for him to step aside.
I have no intention of walking away from the responsibilities, the duties that have been entrusted to me by the people of this entire community.
Bob McCullough promises fairness in the fatal police shooting of an unarmed black teenager.
On one side, people are saying you're rushing to a judgment here, and on the other side, you're dragging this process out. So I'm mindful of all that, and at the same time, we're going to present this as expeditiously as possible.
CBS News senior legal analyst Andrew Cohn.
They're going to hear from the police perspective, they're going to hear from the witnesses' perspective, and then they have to apply what they hear to the legal standard in Missouri for officer shootings. And that legal standard is very high. It's designed to protect the police.
A private autopsy showed Michael Brown was shot 6 times. CBS News Update. I'm Steve Kathan.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family-owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Find them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573 today.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Your family and their safety are your number one priority. Your home, your business, and quality of life provide peace of mind. Your security can be enhanced with the proper firearms and ammo from Battlefield Guns and Ammo. Never take anything for granted, whether you're at home or away. Call 757-410-7720, log on to battlefield-guns.com, and visit Battlefield Guns and Ammo at 240 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Old Town Tavern in the heart of Phoebus is your place for a great lunch and dinner, specializing in fresh seafood, burgers, sandwiches, salads, appetizers, and much more. Open daily, Old Town Tavern has live music, pool tables, darts, HD TVs, and a most pleasing atmosphere. Find them on Facebook. Visit 31 East Mellon Street in Hampton with plenty of parking in the back. Call 251-2636, 251-2636, bringing great food and great people together. Old Town Tavern, the locals' choice. Now back to Greg Bicaveras and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio. It's now time for Greg's Highlights on Sports Scene, presented by GJBTV.com Marketplace Sponsors Page.
All right, thank you very much, Ken Johnson. Glad you're with us right here. Greg Bicaveras right here with Ken Johnson. Ken, let me see that sheet real quick. Thank you so much, my friend. Of course, this is Sports Scene every Wednesday, 12 to 1, GJBTV.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows. Shop on the Marketplace sponsors, also of Hampton Roads Online Mall.com. Save the date for Sports Scene Wednesday, 12 to 1. Business Spotlights coming up. What Teased Me Off. Sports Highlights on NNPSTV.com. Focus show this month and featured guests are the Dallas Cowboys. Next month, the Winston-Salem Open. Still hot out there, still humid, so make sure you drive carefully. If you go swimming, make sure you swim with a friend. We're going to come back right here on Sports Scene after these messages, but first a couple announcement breaks right here. And of course, there's no better way to see a movie than Paragon Theaters at City Center, Oyster Point, and Newport News. A beautiful 12-screen luxury theater with leather recliners, footrest, tray tables, plus two 65-foot extreme screens featuring the best sound and projection for a truly immersive experience. Beer, wine, and expanded food offerings at concession, or bring in food from My Pie Pizza or Neo Kitchen and Bar. There's nothing like it, folks. Recline, unwind, and dine only at Paragon City Center 12. Visit ParagonTheaters.com to reserve your recliner now. Paragon City Center 12. There's no better place to see a movie right there in Oyster Point and Newport News. Fresh fruits, vegetables. It's all at the establishment people know and count on. Dean and Don's. In addition to the finest in produce, they also showcase jellies, breads, eggs, barbecue, juices, honey, and much more. Go by and see the great staff over there in Newport News and Hampton. They do bedding and vegetable plants, hanging baskets, cement items. They are a vegetable and fruit oasis. Go browse, shop, and visit. Of course, find them on Facebook, open Monday through Saturday. Everything, of course, is country. Nothing is fancy at Dean and Don's. Give them a call at 930-2707. Ken, we'll take a short break. This is Sports Scene.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Fink's Car Care is your place for all of your automotive needs. They handle state inspections, brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, transmission service, radiator repair. They have a wide variety of tires, and when it comes to your car, they do it all. Visit their two locations at 2711 Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth and 2236 South Military Highway in Chesapeake. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573.
Now back to Greg Bicaveras and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
But first, let me take a selfie.
All right, live right here on Sports Scene. Stay tuned for a special announcement by Ken Johnson. This is 1237 CBS News right here. I want to thank our great guest, Lou Prado, talking about Penn State football. It's that time of the year again. Ken Johnson, what do you got?
757-291-4234. That's 757-291-4234. Why is that number important? Well, that's where you're going to text for your full prize pack.
Go ahead and repeat it again, Kenny.
757-291-4234.
All right, let's welcome our next guest. I was there on Monday in beautiful Winston-Salem, North Carolina, the Winston-Salem Open, home of the ATP. Alex Bodeman, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, Greg. How are you?
Good to see you, of course, a couple days ago. Thanks for all your help there with you and Rebecca and the great staff there, Bill. And first of all, give us an update. How's the weather, first of all?
It is a gorgeous day out here right now. Sunshine, about high 70s, low 80s. Good crowd in the stands. We got Jerzy Janowicz playing Edouard Roger Vassillon right underneath me right now on the stadium court.
And, of course, John Isner is a big part of that tournament as well. He won it a couple years in a row.
Yes, he did, and he came back here last night, first time in 2 years, played the night match on stadium court. Great crowd. Beat American Bradley Klahn in straight sets, so he will be also playing again tonight against Mikhail Kukushkin from Kazakhstan. Yeah,
tennis is such a wonderful sport. A lot of Americans have done well, including Donald Young.
Yeah, Donald Young's had a great summer. He made the semifinals in Washington, D.C., which is a pretty big tournament, and he's got a big match coming up next on our court against Guillermo Garcia Lopez from Spain. It's good to see him back in the top 50.
Very good. Well, let's talk about the remaining schedule. I know a lot of it's going to be on TV. Talk about it. We're talking to Alex Bodeman from the Winston-Salem Open, talking about professional tennis. They are showcasing a nice event there at Wake Forest. How about the TV schedule?
Yeah, we're on Tennis Channel today starting at 3 o'clock. And we're on pretty much all day. We're on 3 to 7 and then also 9 to 11, so you can tune in and see what's going on at the Winston-Salem Open. We got John Isner, Sam Querrey's playing Kevin Anderson. Like I said, Donald Young playing Guillermo Garcia Lopez. So lots of great matches you can catch on your TV today on Tennis Channel.
And, of course, right before the U.S. Open, too. You can't beat the timing.
Yeah, it's great. A lot of guys use this as kind of a warm-up for the U.S. Open. So we get a lot of good players down here, and then we like seeing how they do in New York.
Yeah, even though I saw Robbie Ginepri play Monday, and we interviewed Steve Johnson, who got beat. But it was good to see Ginepri still playing it. He was a Grand Slam in the semis just almost a decade ago.
Yeah, Ginepri had some injuries, but he's actually come back and had a pretty good year. He earned the USTA wild card into the French Open back in the spring. And he has some match points to beat John Isner in Atlanta a couple weeks ago. So it's good to see Robbie out here playing again.
Alex, thanks a lot for your time. And give us a doubles update as well for people that like doubles.
Our doubles draw, we've actually had a lot of upsets. The biggest one is Juan Sebastian Cabal and Robert Farah. Robert Farah used to play at Southern Cal. They moved on to the semifinals. They beat Opana in the first round, obviously a very good doubles player. And then we had another upset as famous doubles player Leander Paes and his partner David Marrero went down last night. So our doubles draw is wide open, but we've had some really good matches out here.
And finally, the guy interviewed Monday for the September TV show of Sports Highlights on nnpstv.com, Steve Johnson. Give us a recap on him. I know he got beat.
Yeah, Steve Johnson played Sam Querrey yesterday. Tough match because those two are doubles partners, very good friends. So, yeah, Steve went down to Sam, but he's also having a good summer and has got into the top 50 for the first time.
All right, well, stay in touch, my friend, and thanks for all your help, and we'll talk to you soon. Good luck out there.
All right, thanks for having me, Greg.
Thank you, Alex. Okay, Alex Bodeman right there. Ken talking about tennis, and, of course, it's right around the corner from the U.S. Open. Of course, you and I grew up watching Connors and McEnroe, but tennis is trying to grow back in America, and, of course, it's nice to have a tournament not too far away in Winston-Salem where you don't have to worry about cabs and parking and, astronomical fees to eat, drink, and, of course, everything else is right in Winston-Salem, not far at all. You just take 58 to 85 to 40, and you're there.
Of course, I was watching Chrissy, but,
Of course. Of course.
I wasn't watching Jimmy so much as I was watching Chrissy.
I like Pam Shriver. I always liked her. I like the tall girls. I don't know why. I always like Pam Shriver. But anyway, Ken, go ahead and read that announcement one more time as the phone is ringing. Go ahead and read the 7-Eleven text prize pack.
Yeah, this is the number you text to win your full prize pack. It's 757-291-4234. That's, again, a text number, 757-291-4234.
And, of course, the phone numbers are ringing, too, as well. Thank you for that, of course. Ken will get to that in just a second. This is Sports Scene every Wednesday from 12 to 1 on News Talk 1650. Glad you're with us. Greg Bicaveras for more. Log on to gjbtv.com, HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Text 757-291-4234. That's 291-4234. You'll get a 7-Eleven prize pack by just texting the word hi. Just text the word hi at 757-291-4234. HI. That's all you got to do. Hi. That's all you got to do. 757-291-4234. Of course, Ken, we're going to take a short break for more of Sports Scene, and we'll continue after these messages.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires, alignments, and showcase Win automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Find them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573 today.
Your family and their safety are your number one priority. Your home, your business, and quality of life provide peace of mind. Your security can be enhanced with the proper firearms and ammo from Battlefield Guns and Ammo. Never take anything for granted, whether you're at home or away. Call 757-410-7720, log on to battlefield-guns.com, and visit Battlefield Guns and Ammo at 240 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Now back to Greg Bicaveras and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
Turn down for what? Turn down for what? Turn down for what?
All right, thank you very much, Ken Johnson. I want to thank our great guests so far, Lou Prado, Penn State historian, also Alex Bodeman, talking about the ATP in tennis at the Winston-Salem Open. Now it's one of our business spotlight scenes right here coming up with Donald Hood. You've heard him, one of our regular sponsors, Battlefield Guns and Ammo. Donald, how are you on this Wednesday?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Good weather. What's going on this month? Only a few more days left this month. What's going on at Battlefield Guns and Ammo?
Well, as of yesterday, we actually we've been talking about launching our new site, and it finally went live yesterday. And if we don't have it in the store, there's 60,000 plus products on the website that you'll be able to have shipped right to your door.
Well, give us the website.
It's battlefield-guns.com.
Very good, very good. What do you got in store right now in stock at the location?
Wide variety of tactical rifle accessories, pistols, Glocks, Smith & Wesson, Springfield, HK, SIG.
And ammunition as well?
Yes, we have everything but just about 22.
Very good, very good. Of course, we always talk about hunting season. Give us the do's and don'ts for a brand new beginning hunter. Can you give the people that are going to buy a gun any tips as well?
Honestly, come in, fit something up to you, and also go shoot prior to figure out what you want.
Absolutely. Talking to Donald Hood. Of course, the biggest thing is safety, responsibility, respect when you're hunting. Using a proper firearm is a privilege. And, of course, you guys go over all the do's and don'ts and do all the background checks, correct?
Yes, sir, we do.
Absolutely. All right, well, you talk about the fall coming up. What do you expect for the fall season? I know that's when things get back into normal play, back to school and everything. I guess people are getting back into their routine, and I guess that's always an exciting time.
Getting ready for hunting season, whether it's buying rifles and ammunition or whatnot, we can take care of all your needs.
All right, and give us, you have a Facebook page?
Yes.
All right, and the phone number is 410-7720. That's 410-7720. Give us your address.
It's 240 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake, Virginia.
Very good. We'll say hello to your mom and all the great staff over there, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. You have a good one.
You too. All right, Ken, that was Donald Hood right there from Battlefield Guns and Ammo right there. Of course, always an exciting time of the year with the fall coming up.
And if you're not into hunting, fishing, and something around here, then there's something wrong with it because there's just so much of it to do.
That's it. Again, of course, folks, if you want that 7-Eleven prize pack, the text is blowing up. I'll give away one more, 757-291-4234. Text the word GO, G-O, at 757-291-4234. That's all you got to do. Text the word GO. Free prize pack from 7-Eleven. It's hot out there. Give it to your kid, your neighbor, your friend, yourself. Of course, a very nice prize pack from the 7-Eleven. Just text the word GO, G-O, to 757-291-4234. It's free. You need free stuff. Greg will hook you up with a goodie bag from 7-Eleven at 757-291-4234. Just text it. Text the word GO. Ken, speaking of GO, let's go to a break. We'll be back on Sports Scene after these messages.
Fink's Car Care is your place for all of your automotive needs. They handle state inspections, brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, transmission service, radiator repair. They have a wide variety of tires, and when it comes to your car, they do it all. Visit their 2 locations at 2711 Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth and 2236 South Military Highway in Chesapeake. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573.
Turn down for what? Turn down.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Old Town Tavern in the heart of Phoebus is your place for a great lunch and dinner, specializing in fresh seafood, burgers, sandwiches, salads, appetizers, and much more. Open daily, Old Town Tavern has live music, pool tables, darts, HD TVs, and a most pleasing atmosphere. Find them on Facebook. Visit 31 East Mellon Street in Hampton with plenty of parking in the back. Call 251-2636, 251-2636, bringing great food and great people together. Old Town Tavern, the locals' choice. Now back to Greg Bicaveras and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio. What tees you off? Presented by GJBTV.com.
All right, welcome back right here to Sports Scene, live on the radio, News Talk 1650, your home for CBS News, at Greg Bick on Twitter, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV, HROnlineMall.com. Don't forget, shop right there on Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com. That's Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com. Marketplace 1, 2, and 3, the homepage. Find out what you need right there without typing, Googling, or searching. Just go to Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com and also GJBTV.com. Ken, what teased me off? The whole 7 cities thing. Let me see. 7 cities, really? Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Norfolk, Portsmouth, Suffolk, Hampton, Newport News, Poquoson, York County, Smithfield, Windsor, Gloucester. That's a lot more than 7 cities, Kenny.
Oh, well, they're leaving a lot of folks out. And they do the 7 cities because it sounds nice. If you included all of them, they're having such a trouble trying to find some kind of identifier for this area. Come on, Tidewater works, kids.
Yeah, and Hampton Roads, HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. That's it. You got it right, Kenny Johnson. The word is trending right now. How about, we use that word trending. Oh, it's trending. It's trending. You never heard that a few years ago. How about current, relevant, germane, significant, newsworthy? Not everything has to be trending, Ken.
Yeah, I don't know where that came from. Some consultant somewhere, and we all know in broadcasting what consultants are. They're like experts, which is a form or something under a lot of pressure.
Ken, of course, here it is right now, late August, August 20th. Oceanfront, all is good and dandy. Tourists are there. Locals go there. Well, some of them do. A lot of them stay away from it, of course. But still, the oceanfront, you got to love it. It's a mecca during the summer. Then all of a sudden, Labor Day becomes a ghost town till Memorial Day. Could be a Western movie scene on Atlantic Avenue. Ken, how do you fix that year-round, or can you not fix it?
Weather's always an issue. You don't want to go hang on the beach when it's 35, 40 degrees outside, so that's a little tricky too. And unfortunately, the oceanfront nowadays is pretty much focused on just that, people going to the beach and buying souvenirs, and that's all. If they wanted to really attract people year-round, they should have a little more to do down there. Think Busch Gardens, think Disney World. There's plenty of examples of other locations that are year-round attractions, and kind of take a clue from them.
Absolutely. Any place you have to be, Ken, other than work for 3 hours. Any place you have to be other than work for 3 hours, whether it's a wedding, baptism, church, a restaurant, a social event, a sporting event, anything over 3 hours to me is too much.
Yeah, 3 hours. I was going to say 3 hours. Everything is a bit much, but then I can think of some movies that I wouldn't have mind seeing stretched to 3 or 4 hours, and I can think of some other things that are okay. But
well, that's another problem too, though. You start getting your popcorn and your beverages, then you got to go to the restroom, though, too. Don't like arrogant people. Nothing good about arrogant people. Also, what is it, Ken, about people who don't talk but whistle in the hallways to themselves?
When you're 5 years old and it's dark and you're scared, I can see it. But, once you get up past 5 or 6 years old and you're still doing it, you've got an issue.
Dead air, Ken. We don't like dead air.
Try to avoid it, but unfortunately we're slave to inferior technology, computers, and Microsoft. So, unfortunately when you're enslaved to that, it's kind of hard to avoid it sometimes.
The expecting elected officials to make a statement on things, especially minutia, just because there was a shooting in the town, doesn't mean the governor or president should speak about every single cause.
It's amazing to me, the vast majority, I think the statistics are like 90 or 90+% of young black males being killed are killed by other black males. Why is that not being protested? Why are they not up in Chicago where the death rate is just astronomical, but one person shoots somebody and all of a sudden everybody, including the president's got to speak on it? You're missing the big picture. There's a lot more going on than this one incident.
And we'll get to that in just a second. And the whole Governor McDonnell issue, oh my goodness, is becoming a soap opera by the day. Yes, we get it now. His sister didn't like his wife. His wife and him had a bad relationship. Boy, oh boy, talk about too much information. What a couple. That's a disastrous couple. I'm sorry, Governor McDonnell, your good name, my friend, is eroding quick by the public.
The moral of this story is be very, very careful about who you marry.
Goodness gracious. Talk about a woman scorned. Also, vandals, graffiti artists, and any criminal. Let me say this. For those worthless, pathetic scums that beheaded the nice journalists, they hope they get where they're coming with a lot of bombs from the United States as well. Ken, you saw that as well, too. And here's the thing about Missouri, like Ken said. How about the youth that are killing the other youth? That's the biggest issue we have, or adults killing youth, or parents not able to handle kids. We don't hear about that. But youth violence in Chicago, D.C., New York, it's been the big cities, even Richmond, it's been horrific for years, even here in Norfolk. How about when a shooting of a teenager and, helpless, or a killing? That's just as bad. A human life is bad, whether it's an adult killing him or a kid killing him. I'll say this, too. They've calmed things down in Missouri. The state police have been there, the local police. Then you have the good citizens that have formed that wall. You've seen that too, Ken. The ones that are the hooligans throwing the Molotov cocktails, let them go to Iraq and throw them at ISIS. That'll be perfect.
There you go. Protest the Hamas and ISIS. That would work out very well.
All right. Very good, Kenny. And, of course, vandals, graffiti artists, any criminal, we don't like them. We're going to take about a minute break, come back with Rick from Remnant Radio.
Fink's Car Care is your place for all of your automotive needs. They handle state inspections, brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, transmission service, radiator repair. They have a wide variety of tires, and when it comes to your car, they do it all. Visit their two locations at 2711 Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth and 2236 South Military Highway in Chesapeake. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573.
Old Town Tavern in the heart of Phoebus is your place for a great lunch and dinner, specializing in fresh seafood, burgers, sandwiches, salads, appetizers, and much more. Open daily, Old Town Tavern has live music, pool tables, darts, HD TVs, and a most pleasing atmosphere. Find them on Facebook. Visit 31 East Mellon Street in Hampton with plenty of parking in the back. Call 251-2636, 251-2636, bringing great food and great people together. Old Town Tavern, the locals' choice. Now back to Greg Bicaveras and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
And welcome back to Sports Scene. Hope you enjoyed what teased me off, of course. Hampton Roads Online Mall.com, GJBTV.com, where you find my good buddy, of course, Rick from Remnant Radio. Of course, hope you enjoyed the great guests, Lou Prado, Donald Hood, and, of course, Alex Bodeman from the Winston-Salem Open. Ken, Lou Prado really gave us a nice continued success effort and stories about Joe Paterno before he was even married. That's hard to believe,
Oh, yeah. He's known him for a long time. That's a guy you could probably talk to for at least 2 or 3 hours.
And to summarize the guest, Donald Hood from Battlefield Guns and Ammo. It's hunting season again. Go by there and see them on Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. And Alex Bodeman from the Winston-Salem Open. Rick, of course, what's coming up on Remnant Radio today?
Coming up today will be a health show at 1 o'clock, and a couple of more shows after that would interest you. That would interest people in the Word of God.
Well, very good. And you try to mix up your show a little bit with health and nutrition, and also a little bit of religion as well. And of course, it's just an option. It's another chance to showcase your product.
Yeah, we do prophecy. We do religious liberty. But health shows seem to be our most popular one.
What do you think about all the athletes that are trying to use religious symbols during games? It seems like sometimes it offends people, other times, well, I guess to me it's always better than doing gang signs. That's always good.
Yeah, well, anyway, regarding that, I think it's up to the individual what he believes, and that we shouldn't be too critical of them. I mean, everybody's in their walk with God, and they'll find their way if they're sincere.
I'm a firm believer to each his own. What's about your talk about your business card, the scanning and so forth? What do you got there?
No, I have here a good thing for a business card is a QR code. And everybody must have seen those little black dots on walls, on pamphlets, on brochures that will bring you right to a person's website. And you don't have to punch in a URL or a website address. You just focus your phone on that after you've downloaded the QRL or the QR code to your phone. It's as simple as taking a picture and you go right to the website.
What's your website?
Remnant.radio@yahoo.com is the email, and the website is remnant-radio.org.
Very good, Rick. 1 to 3 today, 12 to 3 every day, but Wednesday 1 to 3. I want to thank our great guests today, Lou Prado, Donald Hood, Alex Bodeman. Again, Lou Prado, Alex Bodeman, Donald Hood. For more, log on to gjbtv.com, HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. I want to thank our great guests, also our great sponsors as well. Of course, each and every week right here on Sports Scene, go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows. For Ken Johnson, I'll talk to you again next Wednesday from 12 to 1. For more, go to Sports Highlights as well on nnpstv.com. I'm Greg Picaveras. Happy Wednesday. We'll talk to you soon.
Quick update on traffic. Real bad crash. 64 westbound just past Denby Boulevard. Traffic is stopped right now. Fire and rescue are on the scene. Tractor trailer, multiple vehicles involved in that. Just about all across the roadway and also into the median there. Fire and rescue again on the scene, so it's apparently some injury accidents. Expect that to be a major backup. You might want to hop off take 60 to avoid that. That's again 64 westbound just past Denby Boulevard. Traffic is stopped right now. They're trying to get some vehicles moved around, but it's going to be a while, and we already have a big backup. Now it's time for Remnant Radio on AM 1650. The Answer.